And in that second period, the Canadiens outshot the Bruins 8-7. Boston has dominated this series, the last two games in particular, in the final period, so it'll be interesting to see what happens tonight in the third period. The Canadiens have been sagging, and that's caused some concern in the Montreal camp. Well, over the past 3 or 4 years, Guy Lafleur of the Montreal Canadiens has certainly been one of the most publicized and most respected players in all of hockey. Tonight, in the second intermission, a two-part profile. Here's part one. In all of North American hockey today, there is no player who can generate the on-ice excitement and electricity to match that of the incomparable Guy Lafleur of the Montreal Canadiens. But his NHL career had a rather shaky start, as he recalled when we talked with him in the offices of Guy Lafleur Enterprises in Montreal.
Didn't play much the first 3 years, and didn't have any confidence. And I think when Scotty started to play me more, I got more confidence. And a lot of guys were talking to me, just play your style, you know, don't try to do too much out there. And that was my problem. I was going out there and trying to do too much, and I was not doing anything at all, because I scored 130 goals in my last year junior, and I came up here with the Montreal Canadiens, and people expect me to score 50 goals first year, and that's why maybe I had more pressure.
I think the addition of Steve Shutt and Jacques Lemaire as line mates really helped him, especially Jacques Lemaire's defensive work. He was worried about his defensive game when he came to Montreal, and after coming from a high-scoring league. And when Lemaire started to play regularly with him, it was a big change in him.
The other way, too, I didn't know nobody here. I was lonesome, always by myself, things like that. You know, I knew the guys in the team, but I was maybe too shy to go out, talk to them, or going out with them after a game or after a practice. So I was always going back to my apartment or going to Quebec City.
Lafleur is close to his family and credits his father with helping him develop as a hockey player.
He didn't push me to be a hockey player. He knew I had maybe more talent than the other guys, but he just came there and gave all his help to me. He didn't know much about hockey, but just gave his best, like being there and telling me a lot of times, you know, don't get down, you know, even if something is wrong going or things like that, you know.
Guy is the father of young Martin, and we asked him if he'd want his son to be a hockey player.
I don't know. I saw a few guys when I was young, like Maurice Richard's kid. It was very tough for him to play hockey because people were always on his back, things like that, expecting him to do the same than his father. And I don't mind if he loves hockey and he wants to play hockey. I'll try to give him my best to him, you know, try to help him. And if he one day came up to me and said, well, I don't want to play hockey, well, I said, hey, I'll be not going to be sad or mad at him because he chose something else.
Being a hockey star in Montreal puts a lot of pressure on the entire Lafleur family.
You go out for dinner or you go out for in shopping center, you know, you always got somebody to ask you for autograph, things like that, and it's tough for the kids and your wife to accept that, you know, but they understand well, you know, and they try to not to say nothing much about it, you know, they're part of it and they know what's going on, things like that, so I think they're happy.
And tonight here at the Forum, Guy Lafleur has scored 2 of the Canadiens' 3 goals as they lead Boston 3-0. The Rangers lead the Islanders 2-1 at the end of 2. Stanley Cup 79 continues in just a moment.
Our house sure looks neat with Luxaclad on it. We put on the siding and soffit in a few weekends. Lucky thing we had some Luxaclad siding left over, because we almost forgot Floppy. Luxaclad's strong, and Dad says this special backing helps keep our house warmer, too. And it didn't cost very much, because we did it all by ourselves. And it'll look great for years. It was easy, too.
From Hunter Douglas, the Luxaclad siding system at building supply stores everywhere.
As a boy, I loved to fish. Now I own a fleet. With every catch, the company used to get tangled up with paperwork. Then I heard of AES word processing systems. Our productivity doubled without any complaints. In fact, they thank me. Store work on diskettes. Make revisions on the screen. Type perfect copies at 540 words per minute. The money AES saves me this year could help buy another boat.
Very strange. Why people kick the new advantage radio? It would be simpler, no, to talk to a BF Goodrich dealer about the advantage radio.
Shouldn't that be radio?
That's what I said. Radio. The BF Goodrich Advantage Radio.
There was a very interesting situation and a very familiar one here at the Montreal Forum yesterday morning. The Canadians had got home early in the morning after losing in overtime in Boston. They held a practice, and Guy Lafleur was the first player on the ice. Well, that's the way he goes about his job, so now we have part 2 of this profile of Guy Lafleur. Guy Lafleur is famous in hockey circles for arriving at the arena hours before game time.
I like to be there, you know. I don't have to think about driving my car and going to the Forum because, you know, I'm not relaxing at home. So when I go to the Forum, I'm relaxing and I'm there, so I'm getting mentally prepared and things like that. And I really like it because you get slowly dressed, things like that, talk to the trainer, arrange the stick. And I think it's good because for myself, it's good because it relaxes me. It's funny to say, but don't have to think about the game, you know.
Early this season, Guy became involved in a much publicized contract dispute with the Canadiens' management.
Maybe it was worse in the paper, but it was not that bad. And I think now I'm really happy with what the arrangement are between me and the Canadian. And I think, you know, they really respect me and I respect them. So not worried, but, you know, I try to get the best every year. You know, if I don't score 50 goals, I know one day I'm not going to score 50 goals, but I try to get the maximum every year because I know one day I'm going to maybe going down a bit. But right now I would like to play as many years as I can, but I don't know what can happen. I might be hurt or things like that, but I would like to play 15, 16 years, you know, in the league.
What about Guy Lafleur, the hockey player, as a busy businessman?
I like it very much. It's nice, you know, because I don't have much, maybe a lot of things going on, but I got a few, and I really like what I'm doing and things like that, commercial or publicity-wise and things. And we just start our own program here, and it's a lot of fun, you know.
He has such an easy attitude with almost everyone. He's not big-headed. He's the type of guy that can sit down with the president of any corporation and get along and talk about things that are of interest.
We just talked to